All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everyone doing today? It is Monday the 8th. Man, I feel like we just like literally I clicked into into August and we're like a week in already. It's a little nuts how that's happening. It's moving way too quickly. Anyway, yeah, so this was the fun final tryout weekend for all the lacrosse stuff. So it's like the offers are coming, in, and it's kind of been funny. Got to say this year, the the guy who's the kind of the main infrastructure guy is like, man, parents are interesting. Some of the responses back from some of the parents on things, it's like, well, what about this? And he's like, yeah, he's like, parents stink. Adults are fine though. I was like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So, yeah, youth sports has been fun. So, yeah, so the craziness should be done. We got a couple weeks off, I think. So, yeah, I can get back to things, but. Anyway, typical Monday morning. We've had some decent movement in the Aussie dollar, and again, it's just kind of like a reversal of what we've seen. We mentioned it last week. Strong dollar movement, but we'd go into this week with somewhat of a dollar pullback, and that's what we're getting. And really, it's across the board. I mean, dollar swish, we mentioned it. Aussie dollar, we mentioned it as well, and we talked about it in both the euro dollar and pound dollar. Today, you can see we had to kind of go down setting wise and actually get the low releases, right, to get something, right, to get something in here. If you remove this, there's like not a whole lot today. It's a typical Sunday. It is what it is. It's a typical. It's a Sunday, or it's a Monday in August. What are you gonna do? But as far as news wise, really, I mean, again, nothing today. Tomorrow morning, same thing. I mean, there's not a whole lot there. We're reaching. And again, this is that summer doldrums that people talk about. We do have some CPI data for China tomorrow night, late 9:30. And again, kind of mixed, right? You can see that their CPI is up a little bit, but their PPI is down. So again, Chinese data is what it is. But as far as today, not really anything in there that's, I mean, really, even US on low spectrum, there's nothing really there. So, again, quiet day. Probably not a ton of movement unless there's a major headline. Even it says right there, the dog days of summer. So, and that's what it is, right? You know, I think this is a great article too. When good news is bad, we've been talking about that. Where bad is good and good is bad, right? Also, when you're going down, kind of looking at it again. We talked about New Zealand survey. You know, Chinese aircraft ships never entered our territorial space. Yeah, so yeah, so again, there's going to be a lot over here. Again, Germany, we're going to face difficult months ahead, but we stand by Ukraine and the sanctions against Russia, right? I mean, it's kind of one of those things like they got to say it, right? They got to say it. They got to say it, basically. But besides that, really with everything going on, there's just not a lot there. I mean, I think at this point we've, even, like this, we talked about this is going to be a big thing, right? The defense minister says their aircraft and ships never entered our territorial waters, right? Originally it was like, oh my God, they did. They are entering it for their drills, right? And now it's not. Again, Taiwan's not, they're not a stupid nation. They kind of know what they're dealing with there, right? They're the mouse playing in the tiger's cage. So, yeah. So even on the actual kind of non-economic news front, there's really not a whole lot out there today. So it should be, again, kind of more of a normalization type day. Just kind of keep that in mind when you're looking for setups today. And again, a lot of the stuff in the overnight is what we kind of mentioned. I'll push through. So VIX. Again, VIX is always a weird one. VIX right now is showing up 2.7%, but that's only because at the end of the week we kind of close and then gap, and it's kind of like, well, what's happening over here? Probably not much. I would expect this to turn and start to roll back down again. There's not really any major news like that. And the indices right now, they're all sitting there in the green because they kind of know it as well. There's nothing out there to kind of give us bad news, right? And again, after the day that we had last week, not a whole lot there, right? Not a whole lot there. Anyway, dollar, what is it doing? You can see again, we had this monstrous push up when we talked about the dollar rolling back down again once it found some selling, and it did. You had the red, you had the greens in here, and really the red, green, red didn't kick in until over here, and you can see that it's continued to drop and fall lower as it should. I mean, again, this is I don't want to say promise because that's the wrong word, but it's the idea that, oh my God, they're not going to take their foot off the gas. They are going. Let's roll, which is again not untrue, right? It's not untrue, right? Yeah, but it's not the actual interest rate rise, and that's why we're seeing the price come back again, because as the market kind of factors it in there, and because of such, everything is pretty much kind of rolling where it should. Starting off with Aussie dollar again, we talked about this one coming up. I am surprised, and again, this is one of those, 3 a.m. in the morning, kind of overnight bits. I mean, again, such low volume on this one. We talked about it retracing back up. I'm actually surprised it retraced as high as it did. And I guess it had that continued weakness. Again, a lot of these, when you see these in the overnight, you're like, yeah, the opening session was right here. It's like, do you take the short? There's something there. And actually, it didn't even slow it down, which is kind of amazing because this is such a big push off of it. And again, we'll remove that one. You can see it did Harry Potter off of it. The other side, it went up, it based in one candle, came back and used it and took off higher. So again, you get that continuation through. And again, this one, it's 530 was actually over here. So it pulled back on the 530, which is interesting, right? Up from the open, pulled back at 530, and then just continued to go higher. Now it's having some problems in this roller. So, this was an area we talked about. It was hiding right behind the 61.8. It hit it about 8, so it's a little bit early. With, again, no U.S. news for it to act as a catalyst. Again, we didn't have that one, set up there. So the next time we have a sell in the Aussie is 70.11. At this point, I wouldn't actually be surprised if we start kind of stumbling / rolling over here. It's easy to kind of, take strength away from it in the off session when there's no major driving force for it. But now that the U.S. session has come in, I think it's important to really document this and be like, hey, listen, there's where the Europeans started the day, right? It's gone straight up, and let's see, the run is 60 pips up, right? But you're going to have profit taking come in. So, will it be able to, in the next 30 minutes, rise up to grab the 70.11? Probably not. It's about another 23. I guess it could. Lack of any news makes that a little bit more difficult. But the room is there, right? It has some room to run. So, do we go up? Do we grab it? Do we turn and flip? Yeah, I would say that, there's potential in that one. It could absolutely happen. But again, I'd be looking more for this to kind of reverse back down again and go into a little bit more of a flat day. Currency-wise, the Aussie dollar is up more than anything. It's at 1.12% right now. So, again, kind of what we talked about, as I mentioned, and again, I would expect it to come back down again. This we're going to turn into a yellow, right? Where do we start? Yeah, I mean, here's where we're doing the gap, right? Here's your weekend, pulling it down and then taking off. So, it was right around that 23.6, and we said we're probably going to run out of steam, and it did. It ran out of steam. It died right in the middle of this thing, and then kind of pulled back and took off. So, yeah, right now I think 70.11. Wouldn't be surprised if this turns and rolls back down again. And I'm actually wondering, I'd say probably if it comes back down again, I think there's probably something in this area. Again, it was an old level. It was based off the 50. And again, at this point, it's still there. But the way that it came back and it used that same level, again, old sellers became new buyers. Again, the old Harry Potter here. I would say probably, if you're looking for something, as a potential reversal, probably here. But again, we're going back into there's nothing today, nothing tomorrow. So there's not a whole lot of catalyst to create massive amounts of movement. And again, we're entering the second week of August, so that's why. I don't know how it is where you guys live, but I know in Maryland, August, like particularly this week in August, tends to be I don't want to say like the cheap time to go, but July is like massive to go on vacation, like to go to the beach here. August, it starts to slow down a little bit, so everything gets cheaper. So like if you want to go to the beach here, you still want to get it in before school. Now's the time to go because a lot of private schools start in the next 2 weeks. So now is kind of like the ideal sweet spot. I don't know if that's what's causing it or what, but yeah, we should see some movement. So it could give us something here. Now, Aussie yen, it's also gained back a little bit of strength. And as you can see, we had a level here, but we had already pushed it deep. We talked about this, pushed it deep, hit it again, kind of hit it again, and then just continue to push through. And this was all over the weekend, late last night. So it's not really a zone we're looking to retrace from. Let's see, where do we pull this one off? We don't need this. This one came down, turned on our button. Let's pull these off now just so we can get a little clearer picture. Actually, I did want that other one there, but that's okay. Don't need this one now. This one... Yeah, that was pushing through this weekend. Probably, it's a 71.8, which I'm not a big fan of the 71.8. Did not even give an entry on it. Boring Mondays. You can see this is what we're dealing with right now. Dealing with this one. I can hear the dog barking outside. I bet you Millie jumped over the fence. Hold on one second. Let me message Melissa real quick. Is that her barking? At neighbors. I'm almost positive that is her bark. So, yeah. So we're dealing with this area right here, right now, right? And again, is it an area? Sure, sure. I mean, it was confirmed, it was touched, and then it started the base below, which means, we're probably not interested in going short. I would say, in reality, probably a bit higher. But like I said, this is kind of, there's two zones, right? We had a pullback, a base, and then a nice push away. It's a cleaner level up here at 95.14. I'm sorry, 95.40. But those would be the two levels that you're kind of are in play for reversals at some point today. Could it turn here? Sure, it could, but it's most likely going to be drugged down by the Aussie dollar if that's where it's turning. Is this an amazing level? Not so much, because again, it went about 50% into the level of sellers, came back down, and then base, which means it's forming buyers right below it. So it really doesn't give us a great prospect to be able to go short for it. Just something to kind of watch out for, kind of keep it on your radar. I would say that this is a better reversal level, 94.76. And let's see if we go deep here. There is some Aussie data tonight. Maybe these consumer sentiment numbers really kind of turn this thing, in business confidence, which should go down. Maybe these two get blasted later on this evening, and maybe that's the play. Maybe we continue to grind up. How many pips does it need to move? Needs to move 50. Can it move that? Sure. Without any lack of catalyst, it's going to be a grind up. But, again, that's basically 12 hours from now. Can it move, what did I say, 30? Did I say 30? Was it 30? 50. So it needs to move what? Like 3 pips, 4 pips an hour? Yeah, it can absolutely grind through that. Maybe with a little help from the yen as well. So, again, pushes higher, turns and rolls. Again, that could be a potential for news. And like I said, you can see it down here. Over here, it's considered red, right? But Forex Factory is like, yeah, it's just nothing but a yellow. So, again, a little bit different sources, but we know where that's coming in exactly. Right there. And again, consumer confidence anywhere else is pretty big. So, again, look for that 94.76. If we can get up there, again, look to take this short down off of disappointing news. And again, I do think it could be the disappointing news tonight. Again, consumer sentiment, which we know is down. And then obviously business confidence, which, hey, we're going in recession. We see it. Everybody knows it. That should be pushing down a little bit as well. Euro dollar. All right, so euro dollar. We were looking for a break. We never got the break that we were looking for to push lower. So again, it's stabilized on that point. So we'll remove this right now. And again, that's a Harry Potter for later. And you can see it used it again in the overnight. Okay, Melissa says no. So right now, let's see, what do we got? Target was hit, so we're going to pull the target out. We were talking about shorts potentially at 102.04, and again, I think this was a fib draw that we did from top to bottom. Yeah, it was a fib draw right at the 61.8. So it came there, 3:30 this morning is where it started. All right, I'll delete so you can see it. Again, it was a 50 from here down, right? Easy draw, push down. This one's probably, I'm pretty sure this hit all the full target. Let's see. There, 1 to 3 is right there. Yeah, so it's out. That one's done. And again, it's the old level, the old violation, came back up, the parabolic move, the retracement off the parabolic move, hit it. Again, also session open right here at 3:30, right? And then push through, right? Push through the downside, and again, hit its 1 to 3. You can see the the target in there. So, yeah. It's not one we're going to use a second time. I would say right now, it looks like the 61.8 is probably going to be a better area. Obviously, you guys can see some basing up here right around the 61.8. The 61.8 is a very popular retracement level for fibs. Kind of goes into what we're seeing also with the dollar. Now, it is 9.50. If we get a little bit more of a push up, you can see the dollar U.S. session is trying to fight back already. It only needs to go 20 pips. So can it do 20 pips in the next 40 minutes? Absolutely, it could. It's just whether or not this U.S. trader steps in and starts putting the the foot on the pedal right now. Hold on. Oh, she's not even here. That's not good. So it, like I said, it really depends. But this level again was basing, and finally just broke through with the news. And again, we all know what the news was from last week. But I think 102. Let's see. I'll make it right there. 102.30. is I think kind of the area we're looking for. And again, there is another small level up here at the 786. You guys don't like the 786 as much, but there is a level of basing right there. But this is a strong push. And again, this one would kind of coincide with a 1030 reversal if you guys are looking for that. And again, I did get some recording in this weekend, so one step closer for that class. Actually, I started recording both of them, so, it's not 100% the truth. In the fact that I was like, oh, I recorded for that. I actually recorded for two things. So kind of doing them both kind of in lockstep, but yeah, the graphics are up. I don't think you guys can see the graphics on the Thinkific page though. But basically there's the opening print, right? There's the opening print, and then there's the reversal. So there are two new ones coming in, two small ones, two small classes. They're not biggies, but they're small ones. Just with kind of the rules and definitions of each of them. So I was tempted to do the third one too. I was tempted to put a Harry Potter in as well, because we only talk about that class in these sessions. So it's one of those ones that people are like, well, where's the Harry Potter? I'm like, no, that's not in the master course. Master course is understanding how to draw these zones and what makes good zones and bad zones, and like how to trade news off of them, how to use them for targeting. So it's kind of different, right? But yeah, so yeah, there was two new. I think the graphics are up, but like I said, they may be hidden. I don't know if you guys can see them. There is like a coming soon function, but I don't even know if I clicked it. Maybe I did. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I did. I honestly don't know. I feel like I did. It was a long weekend. Anyway, 102.30 is kind of where I'd say look for a reversal. Again, if we can stomach through that 1030 reversal. As you can see here, the euro pound. Last week we had the alert set on this one. Again, a break below 84.04. I like this one. Again, we hit it 3 o'clock in the morning the other day. We kind of had like a little front run at 3 o'clock today. And just now at 8 o'clock, we tagged it again. It can hit it another 2 more times. I'm good with that one. Remember, the Harry Potters were looking for a failed zone, an area of basing. Again, we know we have buyers in here. This one does have an alert. And again, I tested alerts this weekend, again, just to see like what's going on, why, if they are still sending or not sending. It was a 50% send rate through, so I don't know. I know they're still having problems with the hosting of the bot, which is unfortunate because it is, of all the options out there as far as getting alerts across, it is a good bot. It definitely does work, but unfortunately, the programmer is a guy from Russia, and he is unable to pay for it. So it's, not that he can't afford it, but they will not accept his form of payment because he lives in Russia. So yeah, just shows you an average person what it does. Feel bad for him because he's I want to say kid because he's younger than me, but he's a good guy. Definitely, again, talented programmer. And because of the whole scenario, he's like, yep. He's like, I can't pay for anything because they will not accept payments from Russian people that live in Russia. I'm like, wow. So a couple of people were trying to host it for him and do things, but hopefully it gets fixed. Like I said, it's not as reliable as it was before, but the alert's on there, right? It's a short of, a break below 84.04 and a push all the way down to the 83.47. All right. I must be getting more OCD because it drives me nuts that one is so close and it's not a full number. But 83.48, again, huge punch off of that one. That would be target first, then potential reversal on the way back up. Euro yen. So euro yen is a very similar situation as well. We talked about a level of basing here, and we mentioned that, listen, there's a big area there. We got some basing in. There's one up here, and again, there's two small ones, right? We're kind of in that range. I like this one. It's a very similar type Harry Potter setup. Again, we're looking for that confirmation. And when I say Harry Potter, for those of you like, what the heck is he talking about? Who the heck is Harry Potter? All right, so basically it's called Harry Potter because of the formation of the pattern. It's a continuation pattern. In this case, what we're using is it's a failed area of supply and demand. Basically, when all the orders have been eaten up, it typically will pull back. A lot of you already know this, kind of the old becomes new. So, a lot of people will confuse supply and demand with support and resistance. But a lot of things people say with support and resistance, again, have some carryover into other systems. One of them is old becomes new. Eventually, when all the buyers get bought up, they tend to become sellers, or the next generation becomes, the next people into sellers. That's kind of what this is looking for right here. And that's kind of what it's taking advantage of. So it's set. There's a parabolic move. Again, parabolic move meaning a large burst. We're looking for this one to come back down short. And we talked about somewhere from this area pushing back down. It more or less stabilized and went sideways, and now it's going to be a yen play. So we had Aussie yen up looking to short. Euro yen is also kind of in a similar scenario where, again, yen strength comes back in, it will get drugged down on two different pairs. So little trade set up right here. And again, that one is a break of 37.33. Pound dollar, again, doing the exact same thing as euro dollar did. We talked about this one. It did retrace back up, and we are getting into a level right now. It did reverse kind of where we thought. Let's see, where is there any zones? Are we get close to anything? Yeah, we're kind of getting close up to that 50%. This one looks a lot like the euro dollar. And again, there is kind of two levels here. This was the old kind of basing here and push off. So this would be more of the aggressive entry. I would say the better shaped candle is probably that zone right there. Again, depending on if you're a little bit more aggressive or more conservative, the 21.54, it's kind of wedged in between the 50 and 61.8. So a lot of people that will use 51 for entry, 61.8 as your stop loss. There you go. It's kind of smack in the middle. Gives you a little bit lower risk, but the aggressive side is going to say, hey, listen, there's basing there, and then there was news. So nothing new. You can't see it. Okay, Sean. So yeah, I must not have clicked it. I thought that I did, but unfortunately, some of the options in there, I have to click on them and then hit save. Some of them auto save, but some of them you have to click on it and then hit save. I may not have clicked on it and then hit save. Like I said, I love the auto save function. Right, do you remember back in the day, like that was the thing about using like computers, right? If you didn't save your work and for some reason it crashed, you got that blue screen of death, you lost all your work, where most things now do like that autosave, right? Remember that blue screen of death? Oh my God, I just lost 6 hours worth of work because I didn't hit save, right? So yeah, there are still some functions in there that I have to select it and then like hit save to confirm it. Because that one is a published thing, that one is definitely a confirmation. And now that I'm thinking about it, I may not have done any of the ones with the confirmation. So, yep, my bad. So maybe I'll try to do that later. You guys will see those up there. Hold on, let me make a note. Hold on, I'm just doing the note. Yeah, so much fun. Yeah, may have forgotten that one. That could be my bad. My bad. Okay. No, there we go. All right. So, anyway, 121.54 I think is a little bit more of a conservative entry. It's right past the 50. Again, there's an aggressive stance, and again, we are getting close up to a 10.30 reversal. So a lot of things going on this one. It looks just like the euro dollar, so no need to go over the dollar weakness in the off session. Pound yen. So pound yen last week, we talked about a level up here at the 6.18. We'd sliced through it once, but it was a kind of a news slice. And again, you can see we just went off of it as well, the 163.63. We've hit it. It's starting to push back down again, so you may already be in this trade. By the way, that one was a session opener, right? A session opener. And 1 to 3 is sitting right there. There's 0.2. It's 3.02, so we're really close. It made it about, let's see, how far did it make it in? It made it to 2.75, so pretty close. Right there, 2.99. And again, it should. This one also has a very similar Harry Potter setup. I'd be a little cautious with it. Again, this one, in setting this up, you would have looked at this level right here and said, wait a second. There's a zone there. Yeah, you're right. There is a zone there. And again, that would have been where we're drawing the Harry Potter from, but it bounced off of it. That's exactly what we would expect it to do. So again, we haven't gone to the full profit target. We knew it was a reversal. We knew it was a 61.8. Again, combining multiple different sources together. It's having a little bit of a hard time hitting its profit target, but it looks like much like the Aussie yen, as well as the euro yen, where we're starting to see some yen strength roll back in. This one just has some buyers sitting there before we have an initial, kind of push all the way back to the downside. But I'd say look for 161.50 is probably on the radar for this week. I actually don't mind this one kind of pushing back down again. I don't think this is a horrible trade or anything. So could be something that you are looking to get into. Yeah, not much more to say about that. I'm telling you, I think the dog's outside. All right, so we got our initial push on dollar CAD last week. There was a push up. There was a push. We didn't get the push down. We got the monstrous push up, and we marked this level off and said, "Hey, listen, there's some sellers in there. It's right near the 50. Look for a reversal," and it did. It ended up not. And this is one of those things where you feel bad for fib traders. You're like, fib traders are looking at this and being like, "Oh, the 50%, yeah, right." Unfortunately, this one. Let's see. The fib traders missed this one by 9 pips. And since that time, since this reversal, it is now down 148 pips. So it's kind of like a wah, wah, wah when you base it off of actual percentages versus just actual kind of zones. And again, it's pushing back down kind of where we talk. So, I mean, a lot of chop in this level, right? The first profit target would have been here. Again, your first profit target should be the candle behind. And what did it do? It took a little bounce right off that little piece right there. But again, pure parabolic retracement move. And again, if you guys aren't sure what parabolic retracements are, that course is absolutely up, but this is kind of a textbook one. It drove right into a level of supply, retraced all the way back to the origin of the move, and has actually gone a little bit lower. So really on this one, there's a lot of chop in here, a little sideways basing. I would say that there's really not a whole lot. And again, I'd like to see it take a bounce off of this level down here. The 127.84. It's hit it. It's not like the freshest of zones, and it's kind of push off is all right. It's average. I'd like to see it hit and then kind of do like a failure to go lower scenario where it pushes down and then kind of rallies up a little bit and then pulls back down again, but it becomes a higher low, right? Give me some type of a confirmation off of that zone, and I'd be willing to take it long. Right now, I think this one's in an interesting spot just with oil and everything we've seen in oil. Increased supply, obviously demand back to where it was before, but slowing, right? Potentially slowing with a recession. We're not there yet, but, we're not there yet, but it could kick in at some point, right? Yeah, so not much here. Again, it's the retracement from last week, and again, to get this all the way down, you had to carry this one over the weekend. You guys know my opinion on carrying it over the weekend. Looks like here, basically at the low, it retraced about 50% of the way if you wanted to take that before it closed down on Friday. So, but yeah, there's the full kind of over the weekend thing, and again, I don't hold over the weekend. Dollar Swiss, also the same thing. All right. Dollar Swiss, we talked about this rallying back down once we found a top. And it looks like the top came in. And actually, look at this. This is a pretty decent little Harry Potterish right there. And again, there would have been our entry on the bottom. So it did the same thing too. But again, it's, it depends. Do you want to hold it over the weekend? Do you not want to hold it over the weekend? It did do its retracement. We talked about this week. If we opened up high, start to sell it. And it looks like the opening was right here. So again, pulled back up and then continue to collapse all the way back down. So it looks almost exactly the same as the dollar CAD. Right? There's not really much else to say. I mean, we're at a level where, are there buyers here? Yeah, there's buyers here. But look, 1, 2, 3, this is hit number 4. They're most likely not going to hold. Will it be a 1030 reversal? Most likely, even though there's not a whole lot of news, but it really needs to come much, much lower. Well, I say much, much lower. We're talking about 30 pips. I mean, yeah, 30 pips is great, but, are we going to have enough movement, right? Are we going to have enough movement? It's pretty much already in at this point. So we did talk about the down, and there was your down. Again, we were looking for the stabilization on Friday. We're going to pull these two profit targets out. That is out. That is out. This one is still active, although it's kind of been hit. Actually, I may mark that off. Let me see something here. Does this confirm with it? It does. It does. Even if we grab this level here. Where is it right now? Yeah, it's still snuck in there. I'm gonna say there's probably another short sitting right there. I'm gonna leave that one as a potential for later. How much risk is that? It's only 11. It's not a bad zone. Pull back, and again, European session drove it up, and then it based till about 6:30, and then pulled down, then again, kind of tested again at our 8:30 rollover session. So I like how it pushed down, came up, based, and then tested. And again, barely touched it, and then got pushed down once the volume came in. So probably not a bad level. This might be one of those ones, if you guys know how to set alerts, and you got a lot of alerts on here, this could be a level to come back and kind of check with. And again, I'm not going to put an automatic short on there, because I'm going to kind of see what time it hits that level. But 95.82 could be a level that could be an interesting level. That could be a level in the dollar Swiss that if we rally back up again, take that one short. Like I said, it's just retracing all the movement from last week. The promise is it probably will pop. The question is, does it come all the way down to 95 and then pop back up to that 95.82? So then this could be a level we use in the future. I think Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday we have the CPI number. So again, this comes in at 0.3 or something like that. It could be much, much higher. And even core comes in at 2. I'm sorry, this comes at 0.6. Wholesales I'm not as concerned about. So yeah, Wednesday's the next major day. So we'll see what we can get down and see if that pops us up. Yeah, Yeah, not bad. Dollar yen should look very, very similar, right? Aussie yen, euro yen, pound yen, they're all kind of doing the same thing. Now, this one did have its level of basing, and again, the same Harry Potter. If you guys are doing it, like I said, there's no class, so nothing to buy on this one. We talked about 35. We've had 35 marked off forever being a big level. Again, there's your basing, right? There's your hit, there's your hit, there's your hit, there's your hit. There's your base below, there's your pullback, and boom, it's already in. So this position is live. 1 to 3 is right there, right? So again, coming through, slow grind, slow grind. This one will, I think, have a little bit harder of a time getting to full profit, and the reason why is because, again, the dollar was kind of beaten up all night. Dollar strength kind of rolling back in with the U.S. based session, which is what it should do. But right now, as it continues to push lower, again, it's doing the same thing that the Aussie yen is, the euro yen is doing, the pound yen is doing, and then again, the dollar yen is going in there. But again, a little bit more conflicting factors on this one, and that's, it is what it is. That's just what we got to watch out for. But again, right now, it's about halfway through and continuing to grind a little bit lower. And we talked about it coming all the way back down. We talked about taking profit at that level. Did I get it straight? That would be really cool if I did. No, messed up by just a little bit. 2.7 right there. So super close. Super close, but that's the overall profit target for us later on this week. All right, looks like Bitcoin is having a good day. Look at this big spike up, right? Big spike up, right? Back up to 24, right? Ethereum, we're probably gonna look the same. Yeah, Ethereum has the same kind of spike back up again. Again, 1800, we broke back over the 1800, so that'll be a level where we'll see what kind of selling comes in. Again, a little credibility there. And Dogecoin, nice pop, and it's already starting to retrace back again. So yeah, but it is above 7. So again, for you crypto folks out there, you're probably pretty excited today. Again, nowhere near the numbers that you'd like it to, but again, not looking bad, not looking bad. TLT popping up a little bit. Right, popping up a little bit. We've had some pushes back down again. Again, chopping through this level a whole bunch. I think this does get back down to 114 though. But again, looking for places to put your money at this point is again, TLT's been an interesting one to trade on the option side of things. So not bad, but up 1.11 today. Commodities, you can see oil. Oil, we talked about 91. We actually missed 91, but we talked about 87.52 last week, and you can see 9 o'clock last week we popped up. The 1030 reversal. And I think we even talked about this. I mean, literally the green candle is the 1030 right there. We were kind of looking for, again, Friday, we were talking about 91 would be awesome, right? 91 would have been awesome for the 1030 reversal. Unfortunately, it made it back to the 23.6 at 1030, and that ended up front running it. And all it did was push it back down, and it ended right here, right? So decent trade. I mean, you could have absolutely taken a top off of this one and said, all right, well, there's my level of base, right? Here, let's talk about this. You could have absolutely drawn this one and said, I'll just do it this way. You could say, hey, 1030, there's my top, right? There's my top. And did we make a 1 to 3? Yes, you did. So you ended up grabbing it. So again, one of those ones where we went with the conservative up top. It was a bit more aggressive. And again, remember, oil market is going to be a little bit more technically traded versus supply and demand. You have a lot more people that are into algorithms, scalping, all that kind of stuff. So again, the 23.6 is a popular area to continue. It really hasn't left the area. It's not much different, but you were able to get a 1 to 3 in there. And in reality, when you're talking about where profit targets should be, there's your profit target, and look what it did. Okay. And make sure you guys don't think I'm cheating, right? There you go. The number's exactly the same, and it actually went right below it. Right? How did I know it was going to turn there? Because price action told me it was going to. And it did. And it came back up, and it looks like I don't think it hit it a second time. Nah, it missed it. It just barely missed it this morning at 3 o'clock, but it did the same thing. It sent it right back down past the profit target. Now, it did come back down, and it did bounce right off the same level again. The same level we talked about before, the 87.52, and it is rallying back up again. I would say watch out for some type of reversal, but for the most part, since the U.S. trader got online at 8:30, 9 o'clock, this has been a straight up type scenario. We do know we have sellers coming in, though, right around this $90, this $89.90 mark. So if you are long oil right now, you may want to think about taking profit, particularly in the next 20 minutes. Just to, again, secure the profit. If you want to secure it and you like it, then get back in. But again, because of the fact that Europeans shot it down, the U.S. market shot it back up again, probably going to be some stabilizing because there's not really any other news out there. All right. Now, natural gas is taking kind of a big hit. And again, it gapped down based and never really gave us an entry. So, we talked about the area of basing of where it could go through, and it kind of went up. And again, 1030'd it last week. Yeah, we hit it, used it. Again, the old level was being used. We'll just move this over. We'll just kind of put some new levels on here for the week. We're going to use that level right there. Again, this one had already been chopped through, so it really wasn't the best. Let's see. I don't love this one, but we're going to draw it right there. Probably. The way this is trying to grind through right now. Let's see. I'd say that this is probably a potential. 742, you can see it came up, it pulled back in base, and then kind of exploded itself off of it. It's all right. The formation looks okay on it. I'm not like, I don't know. Kind of torn on that one. It's a decent level. I would say, if we can close down here today, obviously this is, being down 5%. This one is a lot. Again, extremely volatile. This is Germany. Be like, yeah, even though it's going to be rough, we think we're good, right? We're okay. We're surviving. It's going to be the next month and a half when we start talking about winter inventories. That's really going to make a big difference, right? It's going to make a big difference. We'll see. Yeah, I'd say watch for 742. Again, if we get beat up today, that could be a potential reversal for something for tomorrow. Unfortunately, this one is so headline based at this point. I think that's just where you need to show caution with it. Yeah, it's one of those ones. Like I'm waiting for them to basically just say, nope, done, no more. So yeah, fall is coming. Yeah, and Sean, it's not even so much for us. Right, it's not even so much for us. It's really the European countries that really rely upon it. Like I said, Russia really holds the linchpin. Like they didn't slam in all these sanctions and stuff like that. And it's funny, like we're going to get nothing from them, and they're like, well, maybe some things. We're going to take some things from them. Yeah, they're going to get some things from them. In all honesty, you know what I'm waiting for now? I'm waiting for China to send some type of a missile system to Russia to combat the U.S. HIMARS system or whatever it is, right? That's what I'm waiting for. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to sanction China? Go for it, right? Go for it. It's not going to end well for us. So I think there's more to this one. I think this is due for a pop. So I would say 742 on that one. Gold literally chopping back and forth. And again, we kind of put our little arrows in this one, talking about it how most likely it comes down and then goes back up again. I think 1800 is really kind of the linchpin on this one. Right. Again, push down. Yeah, I mean, this is that parabolic move down, right? We talked about the parabolic move down. Holy crap, they're going to raise interest rates, and then it's kind of like, well, they're not. They didn't raise them yet, right? So what they're saying is that, man, it looks like everything's good. Like we could let this build up. Maybe they won't be bad. So we talked about it rallying back up. I think really for gold. Again, getting back up to that 1796, 800, 1800 range, I think is what's important. Again, we talked about it last week. Just finding the entry off it was going to be a little bit more, exciting. And again, it did kind of use the 23.6, but it used it last week and then it just died. Right? If you're trading gold on Friday, you were like, oh my god, and then today it's finally pushed up. So again, that's the one thing. You get these big Friday news releases, and you do get the parabolic moves, but you're like, you have to make your decisions. Like, am I going to hold it over the weekend? It's like, right? Do I hold it over the weekend? And in this case, holding over the weekend did nothing for you. When you open it up right here, right, you could have waited till Sunday night. Nothing on Friday. Hold over the night, and then again, taking it off of this bounce here. It's okay. I think it's fine. I think once they announce what the next interest rate rise is, we take another big push down, and I'm comfortable with that over 1800. If this is gonna, turn and roll. So, yeah, eh, eh. It's one of those ones. It's like, do you love it? No. So, silver. So silver exploding, right? Silver exploding. Again, we're chopping back and forth through. We were tagging levels. Whoops. We've been tagging levels both sides. This was our channeling. We're officially out of our channel, so let's remove that. Let's pull these off just to clear it up a little bit. I'm just do the 20 right there. I wish I could put it here, right? Not full. I mean, I guess if I did this with my charts, but I like having the price more in the middle. It'd be interesting to see if we can get through this level right here. Right, we're fighting it now. We kind of got front row. We're fighting it right now. There's your European session open. I'm wondering if this one comes in. I'm wondering if we get something like that. Again, not necessarily a parabolic move, but that's where profit taking would come in. Wondering if we get this pullback. And again, we may just continue to grind through. I mean, this level's already been pushed to the brink once, right? But it's 10:15. We know what happens at this time. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if this just continues to base, like if we don't blow the top of this channel out, I'm curious to see if this one will come back down and then give us this entry. Right? Kind of curious if we get one of those. Right? Like I said, it's fighting. It's doing its best right now, but we will see profit taking coming in at 10:30 today. And again, this is a little bit of an outlier being at 3%. Again, let's see, is there any Chinese news? Property sector, not really. Yeah, maybe a little bit. That'll affect silver a little bit. Yeah, I love this. Cost of living. Yep. What could the government do? Yep. Cost of living adjustment is the biggie. It's okay. And it makes sense. I mean, that's cost of living is basically just inflation. You know, when you're talking about it, just inflation. Situation if not deteriorated further. Yeah. Nonetheless, it's not applying to fundamental. I said, yeah, nothing's changed. Yeah, it's there. I like to see a little bit of base and kind of run out of steam and then have it start to pull back down. It may or may not do it, but like I said, it's a down, it's a basing, and then you're like, okay. I mean, in reality, it maybe it goes to here, right? And then we need to find the same pattern. So I would say there's probably a short in silver coming up, whether today or tomorrow. But I would say being at 10:30, we're kind of getting that time right now where we are thinking some type of reversal level in this. This is kind of where it would make sense to go, right? It's where it makes sense. All right, VIX, as we said, look, see, VIX opens and it's going to start declining as soon as it opens, and it is. It's trying to get back. It's still technically green, but it's green only because of the weekend gap, which, again, completely 100% justifiable. But it is pulling back down, and obviously everything is in the green. So let's see. If we had, we'll drop it not from an hour. Let's bring it to a 15-minute, and let's see what we had here. All right, let's find it. 9:30 candles there. Yep, this looks like it was one because there's your basing candle. All right, there's your base. And look at that. 8:45 drove it down. It based right on top, waited to 9:30 and took off. Let's see if our 1 to 3 got triggered. Bump. And burn. Look at that one, dead on. Yep. 1, 2, 3 triggered. So there you go. There's your opening print for the day. For ES, we were good there. 1 for 1 so far. Yep, that was my dog outside, just for the record. Melissa just mentioned because like Asher's getting her. Yeah. My neighbors are going to be really excited that my 100-pound Great Dane is running through the neighborhood. So Melissa must not have shut the gate. So hopefully Asher can grab her. Anyway, again, there's your 1 to 3. Again, pulled back to a basing. Again, gave us that telltale sign ahead of time that it was going to pull back up again. Where do we go for the rest of today? So right now, this is kind of what we're dealing with on a 15-minute level. It's not necessarily the freshest of levels, but whoops. It's kind of front run. I would say this entire area here. Yeah, I'd say that this entire area, let's shrink it just so it's easier to drag it across. And there you go. So that's exactly what we ran into. Would actually not be surprised if this kind of pulls back a little bit. Like I said, there's no news really driving this one. And again, really, it's been straight up for the open. That 1030 reverser would pull it kind of back down into this area. But that should have been a profit target first. And look at that. The 1 to 3 that I drew before, when I just drug this box all the way across, just magically happens to be right at the little top of this. I mean, there's like no overlap. It's literally right on the same price level. So funny how that works out. But yeah, there's your 1 to 3 opening print is good to go on this one. And again, right now 1 to 1 and 1 to 1 and 1 to 1 on profit targets. And Q. Let's see what NQ had here. So yeah, this one looks like it pushed lower. So this one I would say, again, it did go down. Again, the same push down, but if I would have had to draw the basing on this one, I would have said, yeah, probably in this area here. The fact that at 9 o'clock, again, opening print, we're talking about that 930 range, the 845 kind of went through it, and then it started to base. It actually did it off of this level here, right? I would have said this one is a little bit harder because, again, it did go much lower. So it looks like we wouldn't have got the entry because we didn't really have a great base to draw it off of. The result was the same. It was straight up in the air. So if you had entered anywhere, I mean, if you had used this level here and done something like a Nadix position where we don't have a stop loss, once it triggered here, maybe even a call spread to the top side, because again, if you're a little bit out of the money here, you obviously hit your 1 to 3 to the top, right? I mean, like, had you drawn it here, again, futures traders would have been harder to enter, right? There's your 1 to 3. So it did obviously go above, depending on where you got your entry. But again, for an opening print down here, there wasn't, unfortunately, a definable zone where you could have set a risk level. The result was the same, went straight up. It did the pullback right before and went straight up. But I would say, as far as, you know, being fully transparent, this would not have been an entry. Unfortunately, it had dropped too low. But had you entered saying, yep, I'm going long, it pulled back, it's basing, there is a base level over there, you would have hit your 1 to 3 target on that one. But again, you would have had to have limited risk. Futures traders would have had a hard time with this one. YM, let's see, YM, well, the 930 candle is right here. This one also pulled back, but if you were looking at this one, I would say that, yes, there is a basing level kind of right here, right? I would say that this one is arguable. Right? It did go up, it did pull back, and it was basing right on top of it. Is it as clean as the ES? No, definitely not as clean. Not as not as explosive as NQ. Live time on this one, I would say, this would have been here. I would have said, if there was a strike that made sense, maybe, right? But again, depending on the size of your account, when you look at all three of them, the ES would have been yup. NQ would have been like, oh, I want to go long, but there's not a level to draw from. This one, if you're looking at it like this, and here, I'll make it big so you guys can kind of see it. If you're looking at it just like that, right? Just like this, you may say, has that pulled back into the level? It's kind of there, right? It's kind of there. I mean, again, those are the tops. Actually, the bottoms are there. Would you have taken it? The 930 is the green. Actually, that one's the green. All right, it opened there. It's kind of like my eyes. No. Had you been looking at this right at that time and I wasn't, I'd have to say no. So, I mean, again, did it go higher? Had you taken it? Sure. Yeah, it would have worked. But again, is it clean? Did it meet the rules? Did we have to tweak the rules just a little bit? Yeah, you had to tweak the rules a little bit to get it. And you guys know how I feel about that. But again, had you taken it long? Yeah, you're probably, I'm sure this is probably out too. Let's see. Yeah, there's 3 right there. So it did go past. So if you were a little bit risky on that one, and if you did tweak the rules and fudge it just a little bit, you did get into it and you would have been out. So again, a third opening print setup. And again, kind of the same scenario on this one. I don't think it hit. If you would have said, hey, where's the closest base? There it is. It did hit it at the 9 o'clock window and then pulled up and started the base. So if you would have said, hey, listen, there was your entry, I'm going long, right? Even if you had moved it higher, maybe if you said, okay, look, there's going to be my risk, right? Because that's where the basing occurred. 1 to 3 is sitting right there. You blew it out of the water. So I would say ES was the best example of the setup. NQ had the best, like the most explosive movement. Russell had a great setup, had to take a little bit more risk because it did hit it and then base above it. And again, that's taking the larger risk level. Even if you took that larger risk level to the base, you still blew it out of the water. And again, Russell's the strongest today. So arguably, I say probably 2 out of 4, right? 2 out of 4 triggered. If you had done 4 out of 4 on the actual taking them, all 4 of them would have worked out. They all went well past the, the 1 to 3 setups for the morning. So, of the 2 that I would say, yes, absolutely, you have entered. You were 100% today on profit targets hitting your 1 to 3. Had you taken all 4 of them because you liked the other ones, then you would have been 4 for 4 on your opening print setups today. So again, fun little strategy, right? Fun little strategy for those opening prints. And again, we're not trading these in here because again, I'm trying to set up for the stream, and it's hard to do both at the same time. I've just figured that out. But again, this is the strategy that we talk about. And you guys know I'm much more forex based than I am futures based, but again, any of the funded trading accounts, you can absolutely trade them over here. So I hate the U.S. futures trading market with a passion. But funded account wise, I do like trading the indices on the the funded accounts. Those are fun. But same thing, 10:30. Look at this. We're already starting to see it start to reverse back again as profit taking comes in. What do we got here? Twitter. Yeah, Twitter's high. Twitter's high. It's filling a gap. Again, Apple maintain. Look at this. Chop right through that thing. So we ended up not getting all the way back down. And Tesla took a nice little gap. So Tesla news is an interesting one today. I don't know if you guys saw it over the weekend. The Democrats forced another bill of legislation through with absolutely zero support from the Republicans. Zero, none, zero, 100% no from the Republican side of things. You got to love bills that are forced through. And then the next day people will be pissed and, it's like, oh, that's bull. Okay, well, you're forcing things through too. So I feel like there should absolutely be, percentages required on both sides just so we don't get a one-sided bill. I don't know if you, and again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's actually on the Senate floor now. I guess it passed the House, and it's over on the Senate side of things. It is one of those weird bills. It's one of the climate change, prescription prices for drug pricing, and energy. So it's like, why not do separate bills that tackle each of them all separately, right? And the climate change part of it. So one of the, I guess, Biden's things is by 2030, he wants half the cars out there being sold to be EV vehicles. The bill that they just put through, 70% of the vehicles that were sold this year would not have qualified for the EV, the electric car tax credits. 70% of the cars sold. So not exactly sure how you expect to have the adoption of electric vehicles work if there's no incentive. If they're more expensive, people are not going to buy them. Yeah. So again, the tax credit was kind of like, hey, buy these, right? But instead, let's just produce more oil and then cut out the subsidies. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't there on the floor. I have no idea, but that's what we're kind of hearing. So anyway, I would say watch Tesla. Tesla's at an interesting spot where there are sellers coming into it at this point. Again, we've seen them in the past. Nice push away. We've hit it now. It is 10:30. We expect to see reversals. So again, Tesla today, be a little cautious this 9-3 mark. Don't be surprised if it comes back down again. 1880. We talked about it last week. We were sitting over here and I said, hey, listen, look for this 1880 to be a target. And we did. We smashed through it. We hit it and we went all the way down to 860. Right, 880, 860. So look for that movement. All right. And again, hey, I'm fully on board the EV thing. I'm fine with that. If I could stick solar panels on my roof, I'd be good with it. There was a, what is it, Rivian, I think is how you say it. We did see a Rivian truck, the truck that they have, or Rivian, whatever you say it. That truck was, we saw one at Sam's Club this weekend. I was excited. Sam's Club gas was $3.70. I was like, woo, it's cheap. feel like I need to smack myself saying that 370 is cheap, but it is cheaper than what it's been. But my wife was like, look, it's one of those trucks. I was like, yeah, they're nice. Absolutely. They're just expensive. So can't justify it yet. She's like, do you know you can power your house for 3 days or 6 days with one of those things? I was like, it depends what you're running on the inside. But yes, theoretically, you could do the same thing with, the Tesla home batteries, right? So a lot of stuff out there. But yeah, anyway, I'd love to get off the grid. I would be cool with that. I hate my power company. So anyway, let's go ahead and do the drawing today. Debbie won last week, so Debbie's in the running, for doubling up today. It's back down to 25 because we were there all last week. Debbie's in for 100. Everybody else is in for 25. Who do we got in here? Eggy, Sean, Debbie. Looks like we got all the usual suspects in today. All right. Let's go ahead and close this drawing down and see who takes it. Debbie's like, I gotta buy another one. Debbie goes big, right? Everybody else goes much heavier than that. All right. Winner of today's drawing is Sean. Look at that. Sean. And that's good because, it's 60 and raining. Sean is already, guys, just so you guys know, you should feel bad for Sean. It is already approaching fall for Sean, right? Those upstate Michiganders, right? Look at it. It's August and he's already getting into fall weather, just so you guys know, right? Sean's summer is over. No, actually, he'll probably have a couple more weeks. But Sean, by early September, you definitely, it's fall there, right? Like you're starting to get into yep. Yeah, we get a little cold nights here. Gets a little breezy. You need that sweatshirt. And you'll have summer's gone. It's already gone. It's August 8th, and Sean's like, yeah, summer's gone. We're already getting the chill, right? And then you'll have snow flurries in October. So anyway, with that being said, guys, tomorrow, again, not a whole lot of stuff out there. Tonight, there may be some Australian data with the Westpac consumer sentiment. Again, Forex Factory considers it not a big deal, but if you look across at any of the Aussie pairs, look, we're trying so hard to get to that number. You can see over here that they are considered a red figure for overall Aussie on the grand spectrum. So again, there may be some trading tonight. You guys know how the Aussie trades are at night. With that said, I'll catch you guys tomorrow again. Remember, tomorrow we are not on at noon. Again, the Nadex programs at midday were halted, so we've slid this forward. We'll be back on at 9:30 to 10:30 tomorrow morning. So if you need anything, shoot me a message on Discord. I'm going to try to get some more recording done today during nap time. And again, I'll try to publish those things just so they're up there. I thought I'd really done it. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. I'll catch you tomorrow. Good trading, and I'll see you then.